There you go. I can't take credit for the video, unfortunately. But Christoph did say to me, keep it under 10 minutes, and that I think was nearly 2, so you got less time to listen to me. So maybe I can just elaborate a little more on DHX for you. Who is DHX? I thought it should be who are DHX, but apparently it's who is DHX. We describe ourselves as a kids' content powerhouse. And as you can see there, we pretty much do everything in the kids space, from development, content production, TV broadcast, which really is mainly in Canada from a traditional sense, YouTube through WildBrain, traditional distribution, and then consumer products, which comes through our brand team and CPLG is our licensing company. What drives us? Entertaining and engaging families globally with the next generation of content and experiences. I think the most important thing there really is that everything that we do is in the family space. I get a lot of pitches that are not for children and families, so if you have any of those, maybe take them to someone else. But that's the main thing, and secondly, everything that we want to do is very much global. Some of the things we're known for, we mentioned them on the trailer there, but I think WildBrain is certainly one of our newer, more interesting components of the business. In the YouTube space, the company's traditionally formed from a distribution business in a traditional sense. We've got animation studios in Canada, TV channels in Canada. We own some of the biggest brands in the kids space like Peanuts, Teletubbies, etc. And we have a big licensing agency called CPLG, who I'm sure many of you know. Some of our offices, I'm based in, I think, one of the ones in the middle there in London. So if you're ever around, feel free to come and say hi. There's probably better ones, like maybe on the left side of the map there in Vancouver would be probably the pick of the bunch. And there it is. It's not the office, but it's a nice part of the world if you ever get to go there. And we have a very big animation studio in downtown Vancouver. I think it's around 800, up to 1,000 people doing 2D and 3D shows. Some of those are work for hire, or service work, and some of them are our own. You can see some of the shows we've got there that we've done: Blaze for Nickelodeon, Carmen Sandiego, Mega Man, Polly Pocket, and Dog Fandango with Nickelodeon, with Chris down there in the front row. There are others I can't mention, but these are just some of the ones that we've done recently. Some of them have won awards. Interestingly, there I can see The Deep listed, which Alison and Chris sitting in front of me probably had a lot more to do with that being successful than certainly I did, but I'll take the credit. There are a few others there. Inspector Gadget, Slug Terror, Cloudy. So we've done a few good ones. We saw some interesting kind of talks earlier with YouTube. Oliver and Helen talking about their experiences there. We're very much in this space. We are calling ourselves the leading experts, so I'll stand by that. And some of the stats there are quite interesting. I mean, I think for those of us that have worked in the traditional side and used to sort of Barb and Nielsen data, some of the data that you can get from this platform is quite incredible. And the stat there that really amazes me is that 1/3 of kids around the world on YouTube have watched at least one of our videos on the WildBrain network, which is quite staggering when you think about it. So what do I do with all of this? I can't take credit for everything, although I've tried to there with The Deep. Really what I'm looking for is in the co-production, acquisitions and development space. So I just thought I'd give you a quick example of one of each of those projects. This is something called Dog Fandango, which we picked up at Cartoon Forum probably 5 years ago, developed it with Cartoon Saloon, went the usual path to finance, ended up partnering with Nickelodeon, and that is in production as a Canadian-Irish co-production with Nickelodeon International. Acquisitions is another thing that we are certainly more recently very much actively looking for. looking for third-party IP that we can take on solely as a distributor. This was something that we partnered with an Australian production company called Cheeky Little, maybe towards the end of last year, and has just finished production, and we're out around the world selling that show as we speak. And then this last one is called Through the Fairy Door, which is something that the company's kind of trying to get much more involved with in terms of how we work as a business across our digital platforms through YouTube, Wildbrain, maybe incubating content on that platform with a view to using a story to take to linear broadcast. So this is something that came with from a toy company. It had no real story element to it, but we just really engaged with the story behind the toy company and the potential for stories in this world, and we've partnered with them, and that content is just recently started to launch on YouTube, so hopefully you'll see more of that in the coming months. I think that's just about it for now, and I'm sure, hopefully I've stayed under 10 minutes, and you're welcome to ask anything later.
Yeah, thank you very much. You did really well.